When I was first applying, I was just thinking of it as just an opportunity to gain more experience of coaching. So that was sort of my mindset going in, just as like a little course, similar to the ones that you might have done before.
Straight off the bat, the energy that the host had and the kind of diversity of the group was really exciting.
It wasn't work logging onto that one-to-one call. It was just like a normal conversation. And that just made me feel a lot more engaged with the program.
There was so much common ground about like whether it was interests or just personalities.
It seemed a bit informal, but that was in a good way because the informality made it more engaging, if that made sense.
I was the only person from my company, and then there was like lots of other people from the same company. So that was almost quite nice that because I wasn't there with Dave from my team or someone else. It was just me. I didn't know anybody else. And that was probably quite a nice way to do it as well.
A lot of people would say that the breakout rooms with your match were the best part of it. And I agree. I think that is also the best part of it.
Because you're learning these things together and then you go off on a weekly basis and practice them together, you build that, I guess, comfort of saying, I found that quite hard, I found that quite difficult. So by being paired with the same person throughout it, you build that relationship, and that allows you to be more open about what you've experienced and be quite honest about your reflections together.
I would still say that the whole cohort meetings where actually learn new content, that was also quite good.
By doing it like every other week, practicing it in the groups and then doing it every other week alternately in your matches was quite a good way of keeping it up.
The teaching was quite high quality. It was explained quite well, and having the opportunity to also do breakout rooms to practice what we just learned, but this time with completely new people, is a good way to improve your coaching skills, as it gives you more exposure to talking to people with completely different life experiences. On that very first session, I was quite amazed at the quality.
Loads of energy in the first session, really clear on what we were looking to do in terms of the way you match people up, the way you practice, the kind of momentum that it had. I definitely had a few of those, oh my God, I get it now moments, which I really enjoy. Those for me are kind of the best days at work.
I think it's really humbling to learn from them as well. And that's something that I really took away from this program, this idea of just learning from people. Because not only did I learn a lot about coaching, but I learned a lot from my match, Will, stuff about the insurance industry. And as a medical student, that's a completely different world from what I'm used to.
An incredible chap. He's like doing medicine, but he also works at a startup, but he also tutors. So to have the opportunity to work with someone outside of my industry, but doing something that can help us together, I think because it's so different to, I guess, the people that I generally interact with, the insurance industry, seeing how he'd apply some of the principles to what he's trying to do was really good.
I'd say the best things were definitely the one-to-ones. And the reason is, when you're in those one-to-ones, it doesn't feel like you're just working. It feels like a genuine conversation with a friend. And it's also the fact that you've done this whole 10-week program with them. It seems as if you've come a long way with them, so you really build that personal connection. That's how I felt with Rahul. And that just made me feel a lot more engaged with the program. Like, since we knew each other so well, it just made the coaching conversations that much more effective, because with each conversation, we were able to be a lot more honest with each other with some of our answers. And I think that really helped us, because we also talked about some personal challenges, like, for example, procrastination for me. And it was a shared goal for both of us to try and improve our procrastination. After these coaching conversations, I feel like we both made some ground and we both learned a lot about each other. We were able to become a lot more efficient, and that actually helped me a lot on the run up to my exam. I think when it comes to leadership, doing this program has made me think a lot more about how my team members are actually feeling.
The ability to hold silence for ages and being comfortable with it is really powerful. I won't do it now because that won't work as a video. You get so much more out of people where you just hold that silence and people feel it. It helps them take themselves to another level of own self-reflection. That is incredibly powerful. Being able to kind of pat my advice monkey on the shoulder and just tell it to go away a little bit. In previous roles, I've been there because of experience and expertise. It's so much more powerful, I've realized, because of the program. As soon as somebody comes to you and says, I've got a problem, I want to talk about this, when kind of finds, I've had a scenario like this before, and this is what I did, why didn't you do that, or why didn't you do this? It's so much harder, but once you've eventually worked out how to do it, it's then so much easier to ask them, well, what do you think you should do? It's such a basic question that anybody can ask it. You don't need any experience, but having that framework to help people find their own answers is incredibly powerful, because if what we found, and this one of the reflections that Rahul and I had, was you might have a really obvious answer of just put your phone down, go put it in a box if you want to stop procrastinating. procrastinating if that's the thing you want coaching on. But if I tell you go put your phone down, that's so much less powerful than if you realise and come up with the idea yourself because it's your idea. Helping people come to their own ideas, even when you might know the answer already, takes more time, but it's so much more powerful than people stick with things. When you first do it was really uncomfortable. Yeah, but once you've done it a few times and then you ask people, how do you find that? Yeah, it's a very solid framework. I don't think anything bad can come of this. If you're not sure about it, it's one of the most memorable and impactful things I've done from a kind of work and personal development perspective. And I struggled to see if anyone's not done something like this before, how it wouldn't be the same for them. And I think the way it was structured, kind of, you didn't almost need to worry about exactly what do we need to talk about because it was so well laid out, and that helped you facilitate such a relaxed and friendly conversation.
I completely echo what Bill was saying. It's a completely transformative experience, to be honest, because it's completely changed my outlook on what being a good leader is. I've actually used these principles in my day-to-day work, and it really does help you. And you can even use coaching to help you in your personal life. It's such a powerful tool. If you can incorporate that into your own self-reflection, you can go very, very far.